welcome to Major League Crypto. This is Kevork.
And Jack.
And I hope you all survived the bloodbath.
Ooh, was it bloody?
Yep, it was
Ooh,
pretty
was
bad.
it bloody? Like I said, I sold out of Bitcoin last week on Monday, and patting myself on the back.
Good exit. Good exit.
Good exit. Yeah, sometimes you just got to protect the downside. Do I think crypto's done? Absolutely not. But to me, it's still a chart. I'm not a long-term investor. I'm a trader, but I do still think there's a ton of opportunity. We're going to be talking about some of those opportunities tonight and trying to figure out where is the bottom.
Where's the bottom?
Where is the bottom?
You want to pull the chart for Bitcoin really quick and check it out?
Bottoms are a lot easier to find on the beach than they are in charts.
Yep.
See, we got it up here. Is it rolling? Oh, okay, because I'm looking at that. All right, yeah. Perfect. So yeah, this is a chart of Bitcoin. Honestly, my downside targets were like 7,600 to 8,000. And I talked about that last week on the show. We got down to that 8K level and then got, a little bit of a bounce up to 9,400. So these bounces are tradable, but we do continue to trend lower. And at this point in time, I do think Bitcoin will continue to trade lower, possibly consolidate before reversing. In the market, sometimes you see what's called a V bottom, which is typically actually what you saw this week in the market, where the market crashed and the next day is up 500 points. However, this is a type of trend that is just going, in my eyes, to continue to trend lower, and there isn't going to be a V bottom reversal where you're going to kind of miss out on the price action. Now, if your time frame is a couple of hours, of course, there's going to be some short covering rallies off of, different support levels. But right now, I would be cautious getting long Bitcoin until really we can put in and just show that there's no more sellers. The problem is everybody who got long and is not a believer in the cryptocurrency space in the long term, which is a lot of people, a lot of things change, you guys. I mean, if you think about it, this is really just right back to where we were in November. Okay, so since the hype got real, in November. This is February. We're right back where we were. Is that bullish? Is that bearish? Well, I'll tell you what. It's bearish from the point of where we rallied all the way up to the 20,000 level. But you just can't expect things to double and stay there, especially when we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. So to me, this is absolutely normal price action. And what it will eventually be is an incredible opportunity for another wave at some point in the future. I don't think that point is now, but we are going to continue to near future. Near future. I don't think that point is today. I'm not going to recommend actually getting long Bitcoin anywhere here, but unless it's for just a trade, I actually think we probably eventually come and test the high we broke out from, going all the way back to September. And that high is all the way down at 4,800. So I do think that Bitcoin is possibly headed over the next few months down to the 4,800 level with tradable bounces in between. But other big news in the cryptocurrency space this week, the markets, actually what we bounced off and rallied from just the other day, finally got their day in front of the SEC, where they had multiple testimonies from people who are head honchos in the crypto space, founders of different exchanges and platforms, talking with the regulators of the U.S. government. And it kind of actually quelled. People thought it would be it's kind of like one of those things, sell the rumor. I guess it's sell the rumor and buy the news. But, people were concerned that maybe the SEC was going to crack down on different exchanges and platforms. But they ended up just getting some of their questions answered, which I think is important, and removed a lot of the headwind for some of these things to move forward with the projects they're working on. So, Kevork, I don't know if you have an article.
Yeah, so I got here, SEC office steps up crypto disclosure policing. So basically right here it says, revealed today in the agency's annual examination priorities update, the OCIE said it will broach the industry under its mandate to improve compliance, monitor risk, and prevent fraud in the U.S. financial markets. In particular, the agency resolved to explore whether adequate disclosures were being given to investors. A lot of this is just basically they're trying to figure out ways to actually define these like ICOs and stuff like that. So the biggest thing that happened was basically they didn't crack down on exchanges, like you said. The biggest thing is that they're trying to focus on ICOs. So over here I have another article. Let's see here. Oh yeah, let's see. Let me see. Right, sorry. Okay, so basically they say that the SEC said that the ICO should be treated as securities. He said that we only see them as securities, the head of the SEC, and that's like that's the main thing they want to get at. They want to define it so they can start like regulating it. So regulation is coming; it's happening currently, and it's interesting to see because everyone's trying to say that the SEC and the U.S. government they're really going to crack down on the exchanges, but it's been an extremely light hand, which I'm surprised to see. I thought they were going to come down with the hammer, but they didn't.
Yeah. I mean, the big fear was, okay, they're going to come in and just ban it, right?
Yeah.
That's not happening. That's really off the table. What they want to do is their whole job is really to protect investors. They want to make sure that these pumps, which we've seen, I mean, they are real. There are people who are creating fictitious companies, and it was, I think it's kind of faded off now, but the same thing happened with the penny stock market in the 90s where you had boiler rooms. I mean, ICOs are modern day boiler rooms. If you ever seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, if you ever seen the movie Boiler Room, they would pretty much what these companies would do is they would own the float. So they would own the shares of a company similar to owning the shares of an ICO. And then they would market those shares to investors promising returns that were just really empty promises. So that's really when the SEC started cracking down on things like this. Now, the ICO market is just this whole thing reinvented where people are creating primarily fictitious companies that sound like they have an incredible marketing trade plan. You saw a couple of them even throw on Victorim, whatever his last name is, the founder of Ethereum. Yeah. They would throw him on the white papers and say he's on their board. He was never on their board.
Well, the reason why they're allowed to say that is because a lot of these ICOs are tokens for Ethereum, so technically, yeah, it's connected to Vitalik Buterin, but it's not because they're just making tokens for the platform. He has nothing to do with the company. He even said that he's like, hey, if I don't say on my Twitter, then I'm not working with them basically, or I've not advised them like all these ICOs are stating. But there's a lot of good coming from ICOs, and ICOs so far have given an awesome platform for people to raise money in a way that they couldn't have done before because of the regulations and just our current
the amount of money it costs, the amount of money it costs to IPO because like banker fees. I still do think the ICO route has obviously reduced the cost of taking a company public, but there is some kind of investor protection needed. Also, Facebook banned pretty much anything related to Bitcoin for ads, which I thought was interesting. And there was some speculation that they're going to come out with their own coin. And that's how they're banning. I think we talked about
I think right now it's just because there's a lot of spam. Like we all know this in the cryptocurrency space. There's everything you're from Snapchat to Instagram to Twitter to Facebook. You can't escape anywhere seeing like somebody's face like yelling about like being Bitcoin and stuff, or try this ICO or join this exchange,
or gosh, what's the guy's name that's all over the ads? He is the sole reason they took it down. James Altucher.
Oh yeah,
with Agora Financial. His ads were absolutely everywhere. Thirsty day in Chicago, very dry. We're going to be drinking a lot of water, guys.
The dry cold, but yeah, I mean, it's just those ads were everywhere. Even for me, like I love crypto, right? I love this field, but one of the biggest negatives about it is it's just so much like BS and filler in between. All these ads, easy money this, easy money that. Everyone's just hopping onto like the hype, and it really does paint the picture like a lot of this is a scam, because I still get approached by people saying, Bitcoin's a scam, all this is a scam. And yeah, there's a lot of scams in this, but I just disregard that for the most part because they really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no scam in Bitcoin, but there is definitely scams in cryptocurrency.
It's in the sphere because people don't understand it.
They don't understand the difference between Bitcoin and say some other altcoin.
Yeah, exactly. So if they don't even know that, of course they're gonna come to these type of conclusions. But moving on, there's some Ethereum news here too. But if you want to go over the Ethereum chart,
yeah, we'll take a look at the Ethereum chart.
Christopher Snook says, where do you guys get most of your news for crypto? Now,
I get it from this guy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with news is that a lot of these news are subjective, right? So Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, those are like the bigger ones. They'll make these articles, right, that are like summary of what's going on. So for the more political stuff with regulations and stuff, I mainly stick to these, and I look at like the underlying the underlying quotes from those like bankers or just like chairmen of organizations directly what they're saying about it. But when it comes to actual news of specific coins, I either follow their Twitter or I join their Telegram group and see what they're posting, because they do have like devs and people active on there to answer people's questions about certain things. So I try to stick to close to the source as possible, because a lot of this stuff I'm not trying to throw anything out there, but I feel like there's a lot of room for manipulation for hyping up certain coins or fudding others. So I try to keep it closely to the source as possible.
So what does FUD stand for?
Fear, uncertainty, doubt. So anything that is part of those three things, it's considered FUD, just to bring a coin down.
Bring the coin down.
Yeah,
okay.
Bring the coin down.
All right, fair enough. So let's take a look, and then actually after this, I did just want to mention one more thing about Bitcoin, where I do think so. Like I have levels where I'm like, okay, if we get above this, then to me it tells me that selling pressure has been relieved. Right now, selling pressure is in Ethereum. The aggressive selling pressure, I'm using Fibonacci retracement and then just taking this low here to the next low. If we can't get above really this most recent high, I'd like to see a daily close above 850. The thing that is good about Ethereum is if you look at the previous support levels, and we've marked up a few of these before, they are buyable on a first test. So, if you're just looking for a 10, 20% move, you are getting moves into new lows when we test them for the first time. So if you go back to this candle that we had on the 24th of December, you can see that's right about, and I know it's probably pretty hard to tell because it's just the wick, but we traded right down to that 570 level. I'm just going to delete this temporarily. We traded right down into that 570 level. That is the low, the last candle low going back to the 21st, so day before Christmas, which was the last candle wick low before we began this great rally up to the 1400 level. We tested that 570, and we rallied all the way up to 770, 800, 850. So you're talking almost a 300-point move, which is huge. I mean, that's like 50-60% return. So still,
a lot of those coins like bounce back like that too, and that's one thing you have to look for. Like when you start seeing like things flattening out in the consolidation, you hop in, you can make a quick 30-40%, and Ethereum has done that. A couple other coins have done that too. It just happens, if you dip like 50-60%, you're going to bounce back a little bit, you have
to have the dead cat bounce, they call it, the reflective move. And I've been talking about, we've been talking about on this channel, how if you really want to participate in the downside when these things are trending down, you have to preset your limits. You have to be willing to buy at X price. So like say if we cracked below this, like I'll give you guys, first of all, that 570 level is probably going to hold for a while. Next time we trade it, we're probably not going to bounce to 850. We'll bounce to 700, and then we'll trade it again, and maybe we'll bounce to 690, and then we'll continue to make a series of lower highs until that level cracks. And then what do? You just go to the next support level below. So this is the stuff that you're going to want to write down, place an order, and just wait for it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the last area we had broken out from. That is 460. So call it 460 to 470. If we break that 570 level, look for a move of $100 or more down, $100 to $110, and then a reflective bounce of possibly, $100 to $200. And that's the trade. You get in, you get out. As far as the just buy and hold crypto, it's not going to work, right? It's going to work. I do think it's going to work over the long time, but right now, if you're looking for returns to be in and out, you have to be trading, you have to be buying these things. And it doesn't mean you have to look at the screen every day. You can come and watch this show every single Wednesday and just set these alerts, set these levels. But when you get in the trade, you got to be willing to get out pretty quick, because from that move from 570 to 850, that took a day, 60% return.
And the thing is, like, one of the biggest, the whole Tether situation is still unresolved. So that's like a big tool for us that we use, and unfortunately that's out for now.
So what is Tether for those?
Yeah, the USDT Tether is basically an altcoin. It's a coin that represents the US dollar. So you could use that to trade. So you could hedge your risk and actually be outside of the crypto world, just in case something like this, this bloodbath did happen. So If you were in Tether previously while everything went down, then congrats, you could buy back in with like a 30-40% discount, you know. But yeah, for now, we don't know what's going on. It's still unaudited. So if it turns out the money behind it's not really backing it, then you can say goodbye to Tether. But for now, I am not in that because it's very risky. The future's uncertain for Tether. So we'll see what happens with that.
Or if you just got some dollar bills in your bank account, you can just roll it in and out. And then, you know, so I'll just give you guys a couple other levels here you want to pay attention to in Ethereum. 470, okay? Below that, 340. And then I do think we actually retest the breakout, which is like 340 to 300. I think that's going to trade this year. Just because there's a lot of money and people, you know, it's one thing when the market's going up, people don't take profits because it just keeps going higher. So why would they? But when the market starts going down, people start selling what they have. It's just how human psychology works, you know. And you know, people, it's recency bias, game theory. So mark up 460, 570, and then below that, you could even say 400. But those are very specific price points you want to be in, and then you want to be looking to get out for a short time until we can begin an uptrend. You know, it took a long time. If you look how long from this high we had, this high is in June, okay, in Ethereum, where we trade up 375. We did not take out that high until November. So, you know, if let's just go back and look, guys, do you think, look at this move up and then this move down, okay? And then you see, I just want to kind of reference some previous points of trading because this has happened before. This isn't new. It's just the only reason it's a big news is because it's the first time since Bitcoin and Ethereum went mainstream, which to me is kind of post Thanksgiving 2017, that we've seen a crash. So it's bigger than it was before because more people are talking about it. If you've been in this space, you've seen this stuff before. We get a move down, we get a move back up.
Yeah, exactly. And it grows exponentially because the market cap keeps going higher after every upswing. But yeah, for another article regarding Ethereum is Ethereum users are losing money and devs don't quite know what to do. This is very similar to things I've been saying previously about Ethereum, even though, once again, like I was saying before about these articles, this is FUD about Ethereum. I've been kind of FUDding Ethereum too. But for here, they're talking about several different events, which I don't know why they keep going back to talking about, because we all know about, you know, I've talked about the DAO hack a lot, so I'm gonna scroll down to the article here. So I will highlight it for you for everyone. Let's see here, revealing old scars. All this controversy hacks back to the 2016 DAO attack, which was one of the biggest ICOs for Ethereum at the time. That saw 3.6 million Ether worth 2.6 billion at today's prices taken from users' wallets by a person exploiting a loophole in the code. In response, developers, here I'll highlight the full thing. In response, developers implement an update that reversed the DAO theft, even though a significant group of community members were against the idea. Because of the heated debate around the philosophy, a group of enthusiasts went hard forked off Ethereum to create a competing cryptocurrency, Ethereum Classic, now valued at 1.7 billion. So yeah, it's talking about how people are just not still happy from that split from the DAO hack, because now with the new economy movement XCM that we talked about last week, how they were talking about they want a hard fork off of it too, which is not happening from my knowledge. But yeah, this is there's just a lot of issues with Ethereum's the whole ecosystem right now with Ethereum.
Okay.
Just there's too much money in it right now, and people are just not making enough to justify them working on the Ethereum network.
Really? So the people who are like coding on the back end?
Well, yeah, just like the full businesses, because like when you're talking about ICOs, you're talking about businesses that work with engineers, but they also have their own. Their game plan, you know. So like every company has their own business, and that business is tied to the blockchain. So your entire business doesn't have to do anything with technology, but it's tied to the blockchain in that respect. Okay. You know. So let's just say OneCoin does for moving scrap metal in the United States. You know, it's like that one business that does that, you know, and basically they have to work with trucking, all these different components, but they have to register that with the blockchain. Basically, their business is not as efficient anymore because the Ethereum blockchain is slow. It is too slow. Yeah.
Okay. Aaron was distracted.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like basically the main thing I was talking about is for Ethereum users, you're not making as much money as they used to. So that's a big thing.
So when, you know, because they're a nonprofit, right? So is that the money?
No, that's an organization. That's not Ethereum itself. So that's why the whole Charlie Lee and Vitalik were fighting previously, is because who controls Ethereum? No one should control it, even though there's an Ethereum foundation with Vitalik on there. So like, once again, like, it's not just the whole government's infighting. It? Well, probably Vitalik and their boys, even though they don't say it, but
and their boys.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's you know, there's infighting right now with Ethereum. You know, that's just not good. That's not bullish in my opinion. But then again, too many businesses are being built upon it. But we're going to see more and more of these articles come up as the cracks within Ethereum show, because more and more is being built on it.
So the more businesses that are built on ERC tokens, is that more bullish for Ethereum because there's more transactions that has to go on Ethereum? Like on the fundamental root level, the more ERC tokens that are created with Ethereum, does that mean like that Ethereum will go up with those companies' success, or does that not necessarily?
I mean, now the ERC token is connected to Ethereum, so if Ethereum drops, like we've seen previously, ERC tokens take a dip too. You know, the only one that's kind of not tied to it, but which it is Ethereum Classic, because sometimes Ethereum Classic will boom without Ethereum being right behind it too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's more bullish from a standpoint saying, hey, you know, you have more of these businesses that have real life application uses going on Ethereum. But like when you have the mining that it is now, and with the whole timeline that Ethereum has, that Ethereum Foundation is laid out for Metropolis and all these updates coming up that want to switch it to proof of stake rather than a proof of work, which is basically a different way of doing the mining algorithm. There's gonna be some trouble with that, and we've been seeing it, and I'm more interested to see how that'll turn out, because if that thing fails, right? If our transition to proof of stake fails in Ethereum, then the other competition is gonna be way better of a solution. Yeah, either Neo, Stratus, EOS, all of those.
What do you think? What is the biggest? Kind of explain to the users, and I don't even know if I understand this fully. Like Ethereum, the way it is used to, the way the token is used to actually create companies underneath versus like Stratus or Neo, and like whichever, you can talk about whichever one you fully understand more, but like how are those coins and their tokens used to help other ICOs launch and get their companies started?
No, I mean every platform has just their network, right? And basically some businesses might be better built on some other on some platforms rather than others. For instance, Stratus is C#, you know, and these are different. These are different languages and programming, and they're different networks. So different businesses might be better for you know, several different, you know, platforms. So IOTA has their Tangle network, you know, that's working with cities like Taipei to make a smart city. So from their engineers, they decide, hey, you know, IOTA is probably a good choice. The thing is, Ethereum, the reason why Ethereum has done so well, because it was the first one to do smart contracts extremely well, right? Better than any other competition, because it has that legacy, has that, you know, it has more years behind it than any other platform, you know, because it was the first one besides, I think, Blackcoin, which is like a very under a low key one, was the first one to actually to execute smart contracts well. So then Ethereum came, but Ethereum had more of the hype. The Microsoft development team visited Ethereum, some big Ethereum conferences, May of 2016, that kind of basically sent whispers around the internet that Ethereum was going to be the next big coin. Then it jumped from $6 up to like 15, and the rest was history.
Wow.
But yeah, when you have these platforms, especially like Ethereum, was the first one to do it, everyone's going to flood to that one.
I'm sorry, what was that date? Because I'm looking it up. I'm pulling up that chart.
I think it was May of 2016.
Okay, there's October, July. Well, this chart only goes back to. It doesn't go back that far, unfortunately.
Oh, it doesn't.
No,
that's
just
Binance. So you want to, if you want, you gotta go on Ethereum USD on Coinbase.
Man, it really started breaking out at the beginning of 2017. That's insane.
Yeah, so
750 to 1400.
But if you're going to talk about human psychology, though, the reason why so many people, I think, why I went with Ethereum is because it was the best at the time, you know, and people just roll with that. And Ethereum is in this position now, thinking like, oh, dang, we didn't expect this many businesses and everyone to jump on our platform, you know. And it's so much, it's a headache, but we'll see what happens, you know, with that. And that's the number one thing I'm keeping an eye for, because if Ethereum, because something like USD Tether, if it goes down, you know, there could be solutions for that pretty easily, you know. But for something like Ethereum, if it does have major headaches, that will affect the crypto space a lot more, because you have so many coins and you have so many tokens and businesses built just for Ethereum. And not every company or ICO has the tools to switch from one blockchain to another seamlessly, depending on which business they're in. So that could be a very messy outcome. Once
for a lot of those companies that are built on that?
Yeah, for sure. But we'll see what happens with that, you know, and as we're moving forward, we'll keep an eye out.
And then back to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to break its current downtrend, we need to get above 8,800. So call it 8,900. So if we trade 8,900, then I would start looking for pullbacks rather than new lows to buy. So above 8,900, I would look for a setup to go long. But other than that, the only levels I'd be interested in buying are new lows. And the new low levels in Bitcoin that I would be interested in buying just on a first test for a trade are, one would be 55.40 to 55.20 would be the next level I'd pay attention to. And then if that breaks, the next level I would pay attention to here is the previous high, which is like 4,800 levels, 4,860. So 5,500 and 4,860 are the two new, if we make new lows on first test, the first time it trades, I would be willing to place a limit potentially at those levels, and then just looking for a, you know, just a 1 or 2 day reversal, which could easily yield 20 to 30%.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I am not interested in getting long Bitcoin unless we can get above 8,900, and then after we get above 8,900, I would then determine a more aggressive buy point.
The volatility is there for traders, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Volatility is here for good. All right. What do we got next? Dash, Monero, Zcash.
So you can go to Dash now.
Things. Go over to Dash chart. Yeah, so
Dash has been doing well.
Doing well for 2 days. Other than that, I mean, this is what a great run Dash had, though.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, well, this is a daily chart, I guess. But yeah, great run in Dash. Went all the way from 100 to 1,400 bucks. But, you know, just like the other cryptos, this thing's in a downtrend right now. And, you know, I'll just do the same thing I do there and have levels that I'd be willing to purchase below. The next real support level I see is down at like 345. So if we make a new low, 345 would be a first test. This most recent support level, which you can see on the chart where this consolidation had happened right here. Okay, it's from like the 400 to 419 level. When we traded down into that, we got a 525 point bounce. You know, you're talking 20.
Yeah, look at those bounces.
20. They're 25% bounces, but you have to be there the first test. So you have to have a limit sitting. So that's an order waiting out there in the market. These are 25% moves. The buy and hold and see your money quadruple over the period of month, that phase is over right now. But that does not mean there's still opportunities. Markets change. Traders have to adjust. There's nothing different about the crypto market than the stock market, except the volatility is more insane. But as far as the strategy and having to adapt to the market conditions, that will always be there. And if you want to take cryptocurrency seriously, you need to consider your strategies that they need to change, because that's markets change and strategies have changed with those markets. These to me are still pretty simple strategies: buying new lows and selling out for bounces. It is really easy to buy when things quintuple, when they go from 100 to 1,400 bucks. I mean, everybody's making money. That's what you had in the .com. I mean, this is, you know, the crypto.com, I guess you could call it. But realistically, there was plenty of opportunities in the .com for people to make money, and plenty of opportunities after the .com for people to make money, but the only people that made money after the initial boom in 99 were people who were willing to change their strategy. The entire strategy before 99 was buy and hold and watch it go up. Everything after that became more tactical, and really, I mean, the better traders ended up winning out, and the people who made the easy money early either gave it all back. But I mean, that's just something. Now, if you're going to buy and hold for 10 years, that's a whole different story. But, you know, I think most of you probably want to be more active like that with at least a smaller percentage of your portfolio. Probably maybe not the whole thing. There's definitely coins that we can believe in that we know over the next 10 years, but still hurts to see.
Yeah, I mean, my strategy, right, is like I trade with a certain amount, I ride up, and I park some profit into an area that I'll pull out, you know, and I'll park some into coins that I like.
How is your pullout game?
It's pretty strong.
Strong pullout game. You guys got to have a good pullout game when you're trading cryptos.
No, I mean, but if you're thinking about being serious now, there's like, you know, in my early time trading cryptos, like it was booming so much, right? I'm like, man, I don't want to pull profit now. I don't want to pull profit now, you know? And those were like the explosive times, you know, I'm talking about like a year and a half ago. And when those were going up, you know, I don't even want to think how much money I could have made if I was just like less emotional, because now I'm just completely desensitized to the whole thing.
Yeah, honestly. It takes a little bit to get it in you, man.
You know, like I was even trending on my Facebook every time I've been posting like
really?
For the past year and a half.
That's funny.
Every time Bitcoin dipped and I heard FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. I just typed in one thing in my status. No, not buy the dip. Hashtag my first dip. Because it's just like, you know, every time everyone's acting like it's their first dip. Like I've been through this, like I feel like it feels like a decade, but it's only been like a year and a half. You know? So like it's pretty crazy. You know, there's so much stuff always happening. Like you always said, like last week, so much stuff's happening every single day. You know?
Every day. Every time I see him once a week, or maybe a little more than that. But it's like we do the show on Wednesday, and it's like, man, I feel like the world has changed.
Yeah, exactly. so there's more opportunity, but you know, for one thing I've learned definitely over this journey is that you have to sell once you put your limits there. You know, once you see an exit point, you got to take the exit. You know, or else you're gonna lose that profit.
Well, typically in markets, I mean, when you have like a hyperbull market like we had, you know, investors do better. There's no doubt, because it is a buy and hold market, and it's very hard for traders to hold. But typically those buy and hold people never realize the gains, because just as hard as it is for a trader to hold, it's hard for a long-term investor to sell. For me, it's like, even I had this period that I would do half trading, half holding, which I'm kind of doing now, but back then there was no method to it, you know? But if you're going to be doing that, you need like an extreme method saying, hey, look, if I'm going to be parking, it's got to be a certain percentage, you know? And if I'm going to be buying and selling, I need to have strict buy and sell zones, and I have to go by that. And you have to go by. You have to follow a rule set.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't follow a rule set, sooner or later, it doesn't matter what you're trading, you're gonna eat away your profits, and
you're gonna get eaten alive.
And then emotionally, that's hard to take.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So yeah, moving ahead. Besides Dash, we got Monero.
My favorite money laundering coin. All of the money I make dog walking, I put into Monero.
Nice.
So the government doesn't tax me on my income, but that's a joke. So Monero, initially I was a buyer down in this level, but talk about support resistance trading. We saw this trend fail when we broke below this major support level, really at the 300. Every single daily candle close, we were testing it. This thing took a long time to top. And then one thing you can see before the top, what do we have here? We come to hit 300, we bounce. We 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 hit 300.
What if you're in all those bounces?
We don't bounce. Yeah, but I mean, you can make a ton of money in all that bounce. And there's a ton of money to be made off trading these bounces. But then when we hit 300, and there's no more bounce. There's no more bounce. And then
that's when you pull the profit and you see what happens.
That is price action candles. That is telling you got to look at these bars and see what's going on behind them, because what's going on behind the price bars is a representation of the human psychology of people invested in those markets. When we bounce 300 or 100 to $200 off these supports, and then we bounce $20, $10, and then we get through. It was just lights out for this sucker, going all the way back to
but you can see that by the price movement, because each candle is at a 1 day chart. So if you don't even see bursting out like that, if I'm in a 2 day period, if I'm gonna be like a weekly trader, right? And if I'm trading those bounces, if I'm not bouncing up that high after 2 days and it's showing weakness, I'm out. You know, I'm not gonna be committed for that trade. So you can see that as it went down, and like we saw before with Ethereum and Dash, you have that dead cat bounce, right? You saw that in that 2 day period. If you look lower,
2 day period,
right when it dipped recently.
Okay, so this dead cat bounce, yeah,
you see that one popped up.
Right
what's that price differential?
From the low to that high?
Yeah, to that high.
Okay, that's about 255 in the high, and then the low of the day is 182.
Yeah, I mean that's a good percentage right there too. You could have made, you know. So this is constant. You see these type of trends are constant. Doesn't matter what
the hindsight, and not just to say, okay, you know, like obviously it's easy for us to be up here and look at these charts and be like, yeah, you could have bought it. But what I want to do is go back to an actual technical reason to why I would have bought it, and I would have gone to this previous high here. So I really realistically would have not been a buyer at 185. 185 is a low. That's fine. But this previous high, that is where I would have been a buyer. And guess what? 190, 195. And then where do you go to? I mean, I would be looking for a sell zone realistically at this candle. So, I mean, this would have been to me the actual, you know, you're not going to catch the low. You're not going to catch the high. But what could have you caught? You could have caught a move from 195 to 240. You know, that is still that's still a 20% return, more than that in just a day. And that's how you got to be looking. If you can do 20% and you have the patience to wait for these pullbacks, you are going to be a profitable trader. If you do not have the discipline to cut losses, if you do not have the patience to wait for support, you are going to be sucking your thumb at night, checking your quotes on Coin Market Cap, just crying yourself to sleep. You got to take these things seriously. I'm looking forward to putting this stuff in some content. So we're gonna put this stuff in some content for you guys.
Sure, of course, learn. Yeah. Because of this format, right? We're very limited. But when we add more content to the YouTube channel, we're gonna go more specific of the levels and everything that's going on.
Are you guys interested in learning some of these strategies to pick levels? Just curious how do some of the viewers here. Is that something you guys be interested in? Bunch of mutes today.
Anyways, hey, they're watching, right? They would know if they're watching. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like there's a lot of money we make from these reversals. And it's crazy because all these coins had that one dead cat bounce, which is awesome. Like those are the things you want to look for trading, because if you get multiple 20% returns, that's like exponential at that point, which is awesome.
Forgot there's a delay. Looks like, all right, so people are interested. I mean, that's what I want to do. So, I want to show you guys how to do this stuff. So we're going to be doing that forward.
So yeah, I got one big a lot of I got an article here really quick I could go over. Basically, this is really big. Coinbase confirms 4 banks blocking Bitcoin credit card purchases. Last week we talked about one, but now all the major banks are starting to join in. I'm not going to go over the full article. I just want to point out here the latest tweet: credit card users from JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citi, and Capital One are all currently prohibited from purchasing cryptocurrencies at the platform. What do you think about that, Jack?
Let's see. Coinbase?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did see that, and I got an email from Coinbase. You know what? To me, it's just a credit card companies going out and just saying, you know what, this is our territory, don't step on it. I also just think if people are going into debt buying Bitcoin, I'm sorry, that's a bad idea. I don't want to call anybody stupid, but you're an idiot. If you're literally going into debt to buy a speculative instrument, that's bad news. This isn't the beginning of the bull run. And you're also not producing, like, it's not like a cash, it's a speculative instrument. So, you know what? There's a couple ways to look at it. One, it's a credit card companies coming in and saying, we're not going to be a part of helping you guys out. And if we aren't, we're going to make money off you.
Yeah, apparently it was Coinbase's decision, not the banks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, Coinbase has been sending out weird emails and stuff saying, oh, be careful, this is all speculative investment,
I think that's then preemptive. So wait, I thought they weren't blocking the credit cards. I thought they were just making them cash advance purchases to charge interest on it.
Cash advance purchases, and debit's clean, not credit though.
Debit's clean, not credit. Yeah, debit. Yeah. I mean, that's because they don't want people. You shouldn't be using your credit card to buy cryptocurrency.
I mean, is that their decision though? You know, if you have that money available to you.
I mean, you can't go to the gas station to buy a lotto ticket with a credit card.
True. I mean, but it depends how you're going to view the market, though. You
can't go to the. I mean, actually, the casino will give you a marker because they're savages.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Come on.
But I also think it does put them in good standing because if it comes out somewhere down the line, you imagine the bad PR when they found out that grandma lost her home because grandma bought Bitcoin on her credit card. It's bad PR. Realistically, if you're in the point in your life where you're buying thousands of dollars of cryptocurrency, thinking it's your way out of debt, you're not in a good place. And I mean,
I can't blame some people though, because so many people are just so much in debt. I'm not saying advocate for it, but it's going to happen.
People are in a ton of debt, but this isn't a way to put yourself. I mean, first of all, I understand people have different situations where they have to go into debt for different reasons, and everybody really carries debt of some sort: car loan, house loan. I mean, there's school loan. There's tons of different debts, but credit card debt is brutal. You're talking, 30% interest rates on a speculative. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it. So I'm okay with it because if it stops people from doing it, it's not a good life decision. And yeah, I'm all anti-regulation, but there's plenty of people out there who need to be told what to do.
I mean, once again, this is I'm more libertarian side. If you're
I mean, I would be libertarian too, except for the fact that somebody's going to end up having to bail them out, and it's probably going to be me and you. So that's that needs to be regulated.
Then that's the banks. Yeah, true. It's a very complicated topic, but yeah, we should move ahead with the next coin.
What are we going to be looking at? Wells Fargo.
Yeah, Zcash.
Wells Fargo's a joke.
Yeah, let's see here. GA3D. Okay, so they told you that. Okay, that's interesting. And have you heard of Cliff High? Yeah, I've seen a couple of stuff. Very interesting, dude. I don't agree with everything he says.
Who is Cliff High? I don't know.
He's like this. He does this weird thing called predictive linguistics. I'm always interested to see weird things like that.
Predictive linguistic.
Yeah,
what?
so he's I believe he was a computer programmer for the government, and I think it was a big company. It might have been Microsoft or IBM or something. But he basically created a system that that gets language around the internet, and he creates psychological and emotional indicators for the language that's being thrown on the internet. So it's very weird. It's very obscure stuff.
That's a little over my head.
He's got a buzz around the cryptocurrency space. Very, very interesting guy. I like the way he thinks, but he's a little out there with this stuff. But hey, I'd love to talk to him. Just like a conversation. He seems like an interesting dude. But this is more technical trading and stuff. So we're not really about that. But interesting dude overall.
Yeah, I think if Bitcoin was the only coin out there that you could buy, it would for sure be exponential to the upside. But you have to think about all of these other companies that are ICOing, that are actually coming out with revenue generating ideas. They're going to pull money away from Bitcoin. So I don't think Bitcoin's going to, I mean, all it is, no. Bitcoin is just a name. As far as a function, it does not have that. So anybody who's still calling for that is not looking at the other options, because you really just have better options for long-term investing.
Now we've seen before, right? We've seen this bloodbath. The market cap got slashed in half, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Once we get the next flood of institutional money in, doesn't mean all of it's going to be flooding into Bitcoin this time around like before. We're probably going to see some altcoins recovering and exploding past their previous prices to new all-time highs. And there's going to be a lot of older altcoins that might just get left in the dust,
Yeah.
And Bitcoin might be one of them, but I still think Bitcoin's still going to recover. If Bitcoin's going to die out, I don't think it's just yet, but that's just my own speculation.
No, I don't think it's yet. I actually do think this low is looking pretty good.
Yeah, the number one thing that might just get, from me, right, from a logical standpoint, the number one thing I think that would make Bitcoin not as strong in the future is once we have more options of people entering into the market with different types of pairs, right? So not everything will be pegged to BTC. There'll be more of a direct option.
And how hard is it to do that? Is BTC this anchor that can't be broken? You know?
Yeah, I mean that's the big question, right? So once we get to an
who
area,
knows? Maybe Tether becomes the anchor. If Tether becomes legitimate, why can't every
or
pair
how about
be
Robinhood?
Yeah,
right. Robinhood will have direct markets, and what if they expand those direct USD markets to several different.
Yeah,
coins,
so I
know?
mean, to bet on Bitcoin, it's just too easy. There's nothing that Bitcoin has where it can't be moved from the anchor. Yes, if it stays the anchor, then it has exponential growth possibility. Yeah. But if it is not the anchor of the market, then what is its value?
Yeah, I mean, that those are the big questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I wouldn't bet on it being the anchor because we know how quickly.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing. Satoshi even said. I mean, Satoshi said, right? We're going to look at the creator. Satoshi said we need solutions, but right now in our market, for how the cryptocurrency space is growing, that Bitcoin being the main anchor for the cryptos is honestly kind of. It's good because it gives us some sort of stabilization, but in the future that would kind of have to be shed for these other coins to grow to their actual like value and just like size, you know, because they could grow a lot bigger than Bitcoin. A lot of these coins, the way that they're moving and their goals. So why is it gonna be tied to Bitcoin at that point? Why is it gonna be like the big daddy, which it's not gonna be?
Big daddy.
Yep.
I thought you were Big Daddy.
With his beard, yeah, probably. But yeah, so how's that Zcash chart looking for you, Jack?
Zcash, you know, it's made a, you know, I really like this support test. Oh, I'm looking at Tether. And there we are. Actually, this is a similar support test. But the breakout in Zcash in December, great retest here. So this is a solid point of solid retest area. And I think, you know, I would really, the level I'd be paying attention to above here is this 480. So if you look at 480, this has been a significant level on the way up and on the way down. Initially on our first test of 480, that was back on December 14th. We consolidated, we got above. That acted as the daily close support. Now, it did spike all the way back down to 308, but we closed at that 480. We continued to battle until we got our next breakout into the new high, got all the way up to 800 even, back to 480, back above, and then this acted as resistance. So the most recent area of a breakdown is the 480, 475. That is where I would look to Zcash to trade back up into. This 280 to 480 is a great tradable range. If we come down, just like we were looking at the Monero chart, bounced, and then broke. If we continue to have great buying opportunity at that 480, where is this chart? Losing it. As long as we continue to have solid bounces, which at this point in time, we're looking at a $100 rally off lows, 33%. Roughly. So 33%, when the rallies start getting under 10%, that makes me concerned. I'm going to respect that 280 support level, look to trade it up to 480 until it stops working. When we stop bouncing 10% in 2 days off the 280 level, then I'm going to be looking to exit as close as I can to my break even on Zcash. That is exactly how I would trade that.
I really like how Zcash is set up right now to trade within that volatility.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great trading coin. Also, Zcash is one of the most mined coins out there, one of the most profitable coins to mine. Why that is, I do not know, but I do think that's interesting. Yeah, I agree. CAG, I'm going to call you CAG, Chief Armament Group. What does that stand for, by the way? Armament Group. But, yeah, I mean, you know, there's going to be other values from other coins that like real world values. So why is Bitcoin going to, I mean, outside of like, you know, are people going to be loyal to Bitcoin because it was the first one? It's like, you know. Yeah,
it will have that at least at the end of the day. Like,
you guys ever heard of Sears?
It's like, you know, people just like old, like, you know, like old coins, you know, that have value. Like old gold coins from like Roman times and stuff like that, you know, just has that legacy.
Yeah,
you know, people like that. You know?
But it's not like, you know, a Roman coin is a little more history than, you know, you're talking the greatest empire in the history of the world.
I'm just saying, when you try to like for like who knows if we're moving like in the current pace, like this digital thing, then Bitcoin is the legacy.
I have a Bitcoin. Look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. True.
Back in my day. Hand this down generation to generation through computer code.
That's funny.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right, and then we got one more coin, and then we'll just take some questions from the crowd and start wrapping it up here. Dash, right? Have we gone over?
No,
that?
we go over Dash.
Oh, we okay.
Yeah, I think
Then
we
we're
went
done
over
then.
everything. Yeah, so, but GA3D is like, hey, can you guys do Litecoin real quickly?
Gotcha. The Charlie Lehigh. I'm gonna say that every time. Starting to at least put in a double bottom. Is forming a nice triangle down at these lows. Has yet to take out a higher high.
Descending highs.
Yeah, descending high still. We also have a double bottom formation. What I would look for is if, the thing is, this is all overhead supply. Like every one of these checks down, like this is going to be resistance. Every single one of these highs is going to be people going, oh, it's back to where I bought it. I'm out. It's back to where I bought it. I'm out. And that's why it's going to take a little bit. If we can if we get back above the 160 level, which is this 160 to 162, big level of resistance. It was support before we broke down. We got below that. We continue to stay below that level. If we get back above a few daily closes above 160, head up towards the 180 level and take out this high here, then yeah, I will start considering. Yeah, it could make an interesting run. But the thing is, there's so many. And this isn't spiking down like very fast. It's been a very steady decline. But one of the things, like it's got a really clean trend line down as well. If you just look at from this high here, we are running out of momentum to the downside. I definitely say it's a better buy this week than it was last week. However, it is still continues to be in a downtrend. I would consider a potential long scenario if we got back above. We need to see daily closes above 162, clear the 175 area, which takes out the high candle from December 4th. And then I would look, after that, then I would look back at these lows for one more test. Back at 130. So if we get above 175, assume a retest of 130, that would be the trade setup I'd look for. So it'd be a series of events I'd be wanting to see.
Chris is back. Yeah, the strip club, Chris, right? Actually, I think there was like a big Bitcoin conference in Miami.
Oh my God, I read about that.
It was like at a strip club, and all you see is like a couple strippers and like a huge like sign in the back that says Dash on it.
Yeah, and they're trying to pay the strippers in Bitcoins, and it's not working.
I mean, they're gonna be taking actually, I think there's one called Legacy Coin, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, we need to get a Bitcoin ATM at a strip club ASAP.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, hey, we said on live. Oh, dang. They're gonna take the idea and run. Thanks for idea, Jack Kevork. We're out here. Yeah.
I will have no part of that. I'm just here to provide services to my ATM. AK, arbitrage opportunities. There's always going to be arbitrage opportunities. How effective they are is going to be...
Yeah, I'm not too big into it because like there's gonna be fees involved. It's sometimes they can take so long, but hey, if people are more focused on that, there's ways to make money. I don't
love it. Joe has a strip club recommendation for anybody looking to take their Bitcoin. Legend Strip Club in Las Vegas.
That's the one. They have a Legend coin. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, they actually have their own coin?
Yeah, I don't know if it was named after a strip club. It's called a Legend coin, which you can buy on Bitrex.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I remember one time it's like spiked up like 80%. I'm like, what the heck is this? I just typed in, I'm like, oh, strip club coin? Okay, that's interesting.
Floyd Mayweather probably went there for the evening.
Yeah, there you
go. That'll spike it. Are the screens frozen? Because they're frozen. Oh, I probably got to click here.
Oh, there you go.
My live stream's frozen.
Oh, your live stream's frozen?
No, I'm watching. Yeah. My face is...
So does anyone have any questions? Where the stream's about to be closed out soon, and if you guys are, if there's anything you guys want to look into, or you can run it by us.
Yeah, if there's any coins you guys want to take a look at. Yeah, I mean, the competition in arbitrage is always going to be there. It's how much risk you want to take. Well, I'm not aware of what X Trade is, Andy. To be honest, I haven't looked in that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's hilarious, Joe.
Yeah, Andy. Yeah, like the whole X Trade. Also, like the whole thing with atomic swaps coming out. There's gonna be a lot of crazy ways you could transfer cryptos over and exchange them. So arbitrage might be eliminated.
XRP, USD.
Yeah, Chris. I'm really looking forward to Robinhood. I think it's gonna be great.
Oh, you know what's funny? I think
they prepared for this.
This is at one of the levels that we had drawn up previously.
What, Z Classic?
No, XRP.
Oh, XRP.
So one of the levels they'd previously had was at 72 cents. Let me go down. Honestly, I'd look at 60 cents.
It looks like it's kind of
Oh,
consolidated.
you know what? It actually traded 6 cents. These candle wicks are
chart.
so small. I don't even know if you guys can see them on your
Kind of
end,
looks like it's consolidating now. So
yeah, it is. You know, well, so what we had was a test of the candle low going back to the 15th of December. That was a good, I mean, you know, you're getting back to the breakout point. Honestly, XRP, you know, I think it's still in a downtrend, obviously. But, you know, if there's, I would really watch this 58. If we retest these lows, I do think this is, because this is really the last area of consolidation. I do think XRP has finally blown its top, which is good. This is what, guys, this is the kind of reset you need to see to have, because things can't exponentially look like a freaking spaceship. They don't just go straight up. So really, this is just another wave of opportunity. I actually like XRP down here.
Yeah,
at like
right now, yeah, I
cents.
think it's a good buy right now. For Katie, came in late. Did you guys look at VeChain already? Hey, we didn't talk about VeChain once this week.
I sold my VeChain, VEN. I mean, obviously, actually, I still think it's a great.
I haven't sold my. I'm not selling that. I'm not selling that anytime soon.
I mean, I'm gonna look back in 2 years, and be like, damn, I shouldn't have sold that.
Jack, you might bash on hodlers, but I have my favorite coins. No,
that's fine. You can hodl, I'll trade. Someone's got to do both. Or we can't, we haven't looked at it. No, today. We'll take a look at it. Oh, it's actually not even that ugly. You know, that just goes to show that compared to the rest of these coins, this thing is still purty.
That's why I didn't get really
it's still purty.
Screwed, you know?
I sold it when it started breaking down here. I mean, it hasn't even come down that much. I mean, to compare to the other coins, I mean, this is a great looking chart still. I mean, because we retested the breakout that we had. I mean, this thing still targets. I mean, if we can hold these lows and continue, so right now that's like, this is VeChain to BTC, which I don't know if they have VeChain to USD yet, but it's 3 decimal places over 4493. But obviously, if you look at that chart, that continues to hold. And to me, this is one of the few cryptos that actually has not broken its uptrend. I'd be concerned if we got below these levels.
See, Jack.
That's a VeChain,
man.
Hey, well, that's a good. I'm glad you're hodling VeChain, because if you were hodling like XRP or something,
these other ones I kind of unloaded on already.
I would have to.
So people are like, oh, why did, like, for instance, like I was holding Stratus before too in Syscoin, which I love those coins. I think they're going to do very well. But those have been historically very tied to like the Bitcoin influence, which most coins are. But VeChain being only on Binance for the most part, and very new, I'm like, all right, I'll chill here for a little bit and
chill.
I mean, hey, it could have been worse, but I think I came out pretty unscathed. Only like one flesh wound here and there. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I was like, last week I was like, I'm selling everything. As soon as I saw Bitcoin breaking 10K, I sold it at like 11. I was like, I'm not touching this.
Yeah, I'm glad all my stuff's basically in VeChain right now.
We had quite the conversation amongst ourselves about hodling versus trading. But
hey, man,
I mean, it's different styles, dude. I don't have patience to hold.
No, I mean, for like all my stuff is basically multi-week anyway, a week or multi-week trades anyway. So it's
Neos, you know, if it gets back to the support here, I mean, really just this area of a breakout from like 76 to like 65, it's a $10 range. Honestly, if we can retest that, I do think that's good. I do think cryptos have made like a tradable bottom. I don't think we're going to come out to new highs anytime soon. What I would be paying attention to for resistance up here, 143, and this is NEO to USD, 143 I'd watch. And then obviously this is the more significant levels, the 121, which was the high of yesterday's candle and really where we broke down from. If we can start clearing above 121, I do expect to move up to 143 in NEO, and then 143 to 167. I mean, it's really just the highs and breakdowns of these candles. Is BTC a buy now? It's a better buy today than it was. BTC had what I would consider the futures contract, a negative 61.8% profit target hit on low, which was the same day as the SEC proposal. So I think Bitcoin is a better buy here.
A good question is by Sterling. Do you guys think the market will continue to trend down? Jack, I'll let you go first on this.
Do I think the market will continue to trend down? So what makes markets stop trending down? When sellers disappear, right? So what you had, that whole move down, and the reason it was super fast is because anybody who bought highs lost faith. When those people lose their faith, you know, they'll just continue to sell. For me, I think there's better trading opportunities than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's market cap is so high, you're much better off trading some of these altcoins with market caps that are under 5 billion. To me, if you're going to look for moves, the volatility in some of the other coins that are under 5 billion, which is literally most coins outside of Ethereum, Ripple, I think
basically
maybe
Ethereum and Ripple.
Ethereum, Ripple. I mean, that's where the opportunity is.
That's why I do.
I mean, that's what I would look for. So, I mean, is it a buy now? I do think we're close to the lows, but to me, there's better trading opportunities out there. You know, things like Neo, Cardano, which I'll look at Cardano next here, but 88 at a BTC, right? Let's see if it's at a USD. Yeah, I gotta add a Tether. Jeez, this thing's ugly. Yeah, I wouldn't touch this one. This had an explosive move, and this thing, there's not even a relatively aggressive bounce here. I would not touch ADA. Not even a relatively aggressive bounce. ZRX. This as well. You know, you got resistance at $1.50. It's a cheaper coin. If we can get above that $1.50 level, maybe I would put it back on my radar above $1.50. Right now, that's your resistance. There's a huge range the other day. You know, I mean, you're having 100% ranges. That's 100% return in a day. I mean, high to low. Not that you would make that return, but however, this chart, you know, you have descending highs, descending lows.
I'm not shaving this beard, Chris. No way. Not anytime soon.
We're actually going to shave his beard in Mexico, and we are going to get him a sombrero. Hopefully, this isn't cultural appropriation. Nobody's offended by this, but we're gonna get.
Hey, I like the style.
Kevork a sombrero. Get him a nice mustache and a mariachi guitar, and we're gonna go try to buy things in Bitcoin in Mexico.
I don't know how to play the guitar.
You just gotta look good. That's it, man.
Okay, all right.
I don't know how to play guitar, but I got him. People be like,
yeah, I saw at your house. I'm like, do you play guitar? He's like, I don't play guitar.
I got 3 guitars, a banjo. I have 2 acoustics, an electric, a banjo. I don't know how to play any of them. I'm like, they look cool. There's like art.
I played bass back in the day. I'm like, hey, Jack, you play guitar? He's like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay, you're one of those guys. I got it.
Actually, you know who got me into the car was Katie's son. Got me into a guitar buying binge. Have you guys heard of the Syndicator? CND, the Syndicator. No, I have not.
Syndicator, what was that on?
You got Syndicator. Ah, look at that. Nice one, Katie. Good looking chart. Now we got a good looking chart. I haven't heard of this, but this is a good looking chart. This is a, you know, higher highs, higher lows. You had a 50% retracement. I actually like this. You know what they do, Kevork? Do you have any idea about the Syndicator?
No, I do not.
Katie, you got any details on this?
There you go.
So we've Katie, from that swing low, from, what is that? That's the first, is that the first? No, that's the 17th. The 17th to high, we've stuck that halfway back. It technically would have an upside profit target, and this is at, I'll look into it this week. I guess we can bring it up next week. But this is a good looking chart.
It's interesting. It's like it's a predictive
we're going to Tulum.
Predictive analytics bot for traditional and crypto financial market analysis. Interesting. Yeah, I definitely got to take a look into that.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
We are going to Cancun, Tulum.
Yeah, ICX is good. I like ICX.
Valloaded. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I don't know. Well, yeah,
it's like Tulum. Valloaded. All in that area.
Yeah.
Going on a nice little tour. Gonna go try to spend some crypto in Mexico. I don't think it's gonna work, but ICX. You got a big topping formation that's gonna be hard to get above.
Yeah, you got that double top right there.
Yeah, I mean these resistance levels. You know, that's a heavy resistance. I don't know. Not a fan. Just strictly chart-wise, just not a fan. And everything I'm talking about, obviously, guys, is just my opinion on the chart. And I'm just looking at supply-demand levels. To me, this is, I mean, you know, I also don't have a lot of data on this, but we've broken below this support until we get back above it. I'm not interested in trying to trade. ANT, BTC, Oregon. Good-looking chart. Good-looking chart. Here we go. Thanks for bringing it up. ANT, you obviously higher highs, higher lows. This is, you know, compare this to the last chart. What do we have? We have supports holding right now. I'd really be paying attention to this level right here. And obviously we just traded. These are the highs we broke out of going back to January. We retested that to the tick. So you can see there's people in here buying that. So I would continue to watch that support level, and it's 4758 BTC, and continue to trade against it until we stop getting bounces.
Oh, by the way, Chris says syndicator a Microsoft partner, or could that just be a PR stunt? That could just be a thing that they're going to work with Azure, which a lot of coins say that they're partners with Microsoft, which means they'll be working with their platform, but it's not like a traditional partnership that it's just, you know, hype. You know, they're trying to hype up their own coin. So I would have to look into that, though, but I think I would have heard about it if Syndicator did do a formal partnership with Microsoft.
AK, you can send me an email. I could take a look at whatever you're talking about. Probably here's not a good discussion for that. Okay, so if you haven't already done it, which I know you probably all have, smash that thumbs up like button. Subscribe, because 669 is like really inappropriate for us to have a subscriber number, so we just need one more. My mom watches this, she'll be upset. She's very religious. Let's see here. Suppose if you buy 5,000
Yeah, hit that like button. We're going to have a lot more content coming up soon, like individual videos. That'll be more in depth with what's going on like that day too. So
Bitcoin Cash, BCC. I'll do Bitcoin Cash, and then I need to go eat dinner. USD. Want to go eat dinner?
Yeah, sure.
We go to a Thai place every time. So if anybody's in Chicagoland area and wants to get Thai with us after this show, what is this? Not working. What is it? BCC USD?
For what?
Bitcoin Cash.
It's BCH. Well, depends. It goes by both, but mostly BCH.
Not looking good. It's not looking good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Bitcoin Cash right now.
Good. It's not looking good. I'm just going to say that Bitcoin Cash is not looking good.
Not at all.
Yeah. I know one guy who sold it at 5,000. I'm like, damn, dude, you were a genius. He got it for free off the fork and sold it at 5K.
Yep.
But he's a trader, so he knows. He saw that thing hit 5K and he was like, boom.
I'm out.
Could you imagine that? Things at 400% down from there. Or I guess it would be not 400%, but it would take 400% move to get back up there.
Yeah. Probably not going to happen anytime soon.
Porterhouse. What are you trying to make me? I got to go to Mexico. I can't be eating porterhouses. But anyways, everybody, Thank you for stopping by and watching. Feel free, if you guys want to share these videos on your Facebook, Instagram, whatever, drop a link, youtube.com/Major League Crypto. And take care. Have a great week and trade safe.
Have a great week.